Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WeLoveMetal.com. I am so honored to be on the phone with a true heavy metal legend, Lizzy Borden. How you doing, Lizzy?
I am doing amazing, just setting up for this massive Summer of Blood tour.
And that's why we're talking today. There's a lot of people excited about this thing. You guys must be pretty geared up with the anticipation.
We are, man. I mean, our whole thing was, we were writing songs and demoing songs, and we just said, you know what, we can't let this summer go by without playing. We've been working on this show for the last couple of years, and we've really been playing outside of the United States for a while, so we really wanted to bring this show into the United States and really play it to as many people as possible over the next, for this tour and beyond. So we're excited to just go ahead and book something and let's do it.
Awesome. And you guys are obviously so well known for your stage shows. What can people expect this time? They haven't seen you in a while.
Well, like I said, this show we started building and working on when we released the Appointment with Death album. And we kind of been tweaking it. It's kind of a best-of show. We take songs from each record, and it's kind of worked in within the show. Sometimes we pair an old song with a new song, and we do all sorts of different little connections that are, really interesting and encompassing the whole 28 years of Lizzy Borden. So we're kind of, that's where the show, this is our Kiss Alive show. We've really been working on it and honing it down so it works. We'll play in front of 70,000 people, or we'll play in front of, 300 or 400 people, and it works everywhere. So I'm so excited to bring this show. And we have some surprises on this particular Summer of Blood leg of this tour, and that we haven't done before. And we actually, we're all just going crazy over the ideas that we've already thrown down. So I think people are going to love it. The older fans and the newer fans. I mean, in Europe, our average fans, besides Germany, is around in their 20s. But in the United States, the fans are a little older. So this encompasses the whole thing of the early stuff, the older stuff, the brand new stuff, everything.
So for those newer fans, what tracks are you playing off Appointment with Death?
Say that again?
What tracks are you playing off the latest release, off Appointment with Death?
It varies. There is a few. I don't want to mention any songs because it's a surprise.
Excellent.
We play when we first started the Appointment with Death show. I think we did like 8 songs off of it, and then we realized which songs got the best response, and then we kind of worked off that. And then we did the same thing with all the other songs too. The songs that got the best response are the ones that stayed in the show, and then we kind of build the show around those songs, and they seem to be universal. The same response we get in America is the same one we get in Europe. So it's that's how kind of we've been doing this show. But we do a fair amount off of the new album.
That's good. I commend you for that, because usually you see a lot of bands now, they get a set list and they stick with it no matter what. So I certainly appreciate you guys doing that way.
Yeah, we actually have a slot in the show now too, which we haven't done before because we haven't had access to it all. But we have like 3 or 4 songs that we're going to alternate within the night. So we'll be tweeting and doing everything on the Facebook and everything, and seeing what song out of those 3 or 4 people want to hear that particular night in their hometown. So we've got kind of an interaction type of thing going on with our show on this run. And then the encores are just phenomenal. We've got some wild stuff happening there too, and the show is going to be a bloody extravaganza as always.
See, that's one. You'd think we set this up because you just segued right into my next question, which was about social media. You're very active. I mean, has this changed the way that you deal with your fans and interact with them?
Well, yeah. I mean, it used to be we'd pass out flyers, one fan at a time, and now you pass out flyers online. So it's kind of it's a weird way of doing it, but yeah, you reach so many more people, and so many more people know what you're doing, and that we're active, and that we're still putting out records, we're still touring, we're still going. I mean, I still run into people, online and stuff who lost touch with us and didn't realize that we were doing all this stuff, and they found us on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever, So it's actually connecting the whole world to the fan base that we have out there, and showing people what we're doing. And it's so much easier than doing it, one thing at a time, one state at a time or whatever. You can actually do the whole thing, online before we even leave for the tour.
And I'll tell you, that fan base you have, they are a very active bunch. When we announced that we'd be interviewing and asking for questions, we got quite a few, so I'd like to ask you a couple of them, if you're okay, from your fans.
Absolutely.
One of them was, they wanted to know, looking back on what is a long and prosperous career, if there was a specific turning point for you where you knew this is how you were going to make your living.
Well, at the beginning, I was so driven that I didn't even look back. We recorded 4 albums in 14 months, So we were so driven, there was no looking back. We knew we had I grew up in LA, so I watched the scene go from nothing to something. We started playing the Troubadour, and there was just tables and chairs, and then as soon as they cleared out that, we kind of had an idea that there was a scene starting. So I knew that was happening, but when I kind of put my head up and I did the Master of Disguise album, that's when I realized I might be kind of good at this. I'm starting to understand what the hell I'm doing. Before then, I didn't have a clue. We just kind of drove through it. But when we did the Master of Disguise album, that was when I realized, okay, well, there's an art here, and there's something that I'm starting to be capable of. So that was kind of the point where I said I'm really enjoying the art of it, rather than just the I want to be in a band.
The other question is from a guy named Bob Newhart is Hardcore. He's one of our longtime readers. He wanted to know where this Glam label came from for Lizzy Borden. He doesn't feel you guys are anywhere in that glam realm, and does it disturb you to be associated with that, or is it whatever people want?
We are probably the most misunderstood band in the history of music, because we can play. We played with Slayer and we played with Poison. It's just there's probably no band on the planet that can do that. It's one of those weird things. We wear stage theatrical makeup, and we always have. So I think, because of the glam bands wearing all the Maybelline stuff and all that, I think, people love to categorize, so they kind of try and slip you into any category that's fitting, and that's good to start scenes. That's how scenes start. There's a glam scene, there's a thrash scene, there's all different scenes start that way because they're all very similar. But because we never chose sides, we played the music we wanted to play, and we realized it was going to be a theatrical band, so there was going to be stage makeup and all that stuff. That's how people kind of see that, and they just throw you in that bin, and that's the kind of band you are, and it's really never been us. I have nothing against any of it, to tell you the truth. I'm very open-minded about music. I listen to everything, so I am not closed-minded at all.
Exactly. I think you guys do your own thing. I don't really think there's a label for Lizzy Borden, so there's nothing wrong with that. With that said, though, the next fan wanted to know, when you're writing a song, would you mind walking us through that? Is it just you, or is it a collaboration with the band, or?
Well, we've done different records different ways. The first 4 records were done, me and a guitar player would go in a room, and I would play a chorus I had, and then maybe he would come up with the music for a verse, and then I would write I've written all the melodies and all the lyrics to every Lizzy Borden song, and probably around 50 to 60% of the music. But I do love collaborating, and we've done collaborating records. Like the first 4 records, I think, were done that way. But when it came to Master of Disguise and Deal with the Devil, I wrote everything and demoed the songs all myself, played all the instruments, and then we went into the studio and we brought people in to record them, and did the same thing on Deal with the Devil. And but when we did Appointment with Death, I wanted to kind of go back to a band thing. So we all 4 of us got inside of a room and just worked on these songs until they were honed out enough so that we could record them. So every album's been different. Right now, I'm writing on my own, but I've written one song with Dario, our guitarist, and we wrote that in Sweden. We were in a room we just started writing and recording, and we came up with a really great song, and it'll probably be on the next record. So the collaborating effort is coming around with this new lineup that we have. I hope a lot more. But I do write a lot of songs on my own as well.
Is there anything you could possibly tell us about that new album? Any rumors we can start?
The only thing I can say is there's not such a rush to put out a record nowadays, especially since we're playing to in a lot of parts of the world, very young audience that has no idea of a lot of stuff. They're just catching up on that stuff, so they want us to play the stuff that they're familiar with, and we're game to do it. And then some of the older fans, of course, want us to play songs that they're familiar with. So I'm not anxious to put out a record, but for my own self, I love playing new material. I love building a show around the new album. But in this case, Appointment with Death was like a full circle album for me. We started on Give 'Em the Axe and Love You to Pieces, and we went all the way around to ending with Appointment with Death. So having said that, I wanted to start something new and try and challenge myself and do something completely different. I mean, I could have recorded, another 2 or 3 Lizzy Borden albums in this time, but because we finished off that way with Appointment with Death being so similar to the earlier records, that I wanted to try now and break off and treat this like this was a first record. Let's try and break new ground and do something really interesting that we haven't never done before. And I don't think we've ever released the same record twice.
No.
This is going to even be more over the top and more interesting and more different and hopefully more original than anything we've ever done.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna hit you with one last question, Lizzy, and then I'll let you go. Something we ask a lot. If we could have a dream show with Lizzy Borden as the headliner, who would be the other 3 bands you'd like to have on the stage with you?
Well, I mean, my favorite bands are bands that are, stadium bands like Kiss and those type of bands who actually put on shows. I always wanted to do shows with other theatrical bands that, one show after the other, the audience is just getting blown away. And more now more than in probably, 20-something years, there's more theatrical bands out there. So, other than Kiss, I love Priest. I always wanted to play with Priest. We did shows with Alice Cooper, so that was kind of a dream that I was able to do. But yeah, I mean, it's just been to have the dream show. I don't know, us headlining an arena would be in America would be a phenomenal thing for me.
I think it'd be excellent. All right, where can people go to get these tour dates for Summer of Blood?
LizzyBorden.com. You go there, and there's flyers, there's banners, it takes you to our Facebook page, and all the information down there. You can go to our Facebook page and even ask questions, and you'll probably get an answer. But yeah, LizzyBorden.com.
Well, listen, man, I thank you so much for doing this. Truly a humbling experience to speak with a legend like yourself, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.